This is a film about a scouting mission. The mission was to spend the summer crafting a new 985-kilometre bikepacking route. The destination, my home state of Tassie. The aim, take those with a taste for two-wheeled, self-propelled travel past some of the most beautiful and iconic sites in the state, via as many gravel roads as possible. The northern and eastern sections of the route needed testing, so I set out on a 6-day ride to check if my line on a map worked in reality. Come and join me as I scout out a section of the Tassie Traverse. The actual route will start in Launceston, Tassie's second largest city, but for this mission I started in the nearby historic town of Evandale. Leaving Evandale, I passed through farmland, making my way towards Ben Lomond National Park. The ride up to the summit is in the running for one of Australia's best gravel rides. I stopped at the conveniently located base cafe to fuel up before the climb. The switchbacks of Jacob's Ladder can be tough on a fully loaded bike. But on a clear day, you are rewarded with impressive views of the valley and beyond. You can't come to Tassie without riding up Jacob's Ladder and Ben Lomond. I eventually descended to camp, collecting some water and set up for the night. Today's mission was to first make my way towards Scottsdale for lunch. To get there, you pass Mount Barrow, another 1,300 plus metre peak with views worth the detour for those with the legs and the time. Not for me today. The 26 kilometre northeast rail trail crosses farmland and cuts deep into forest. The 8 kilometre Valley Pond single track hugs the fern-lined Ringarooma River and takes you from Braxholme to Derby. It'll put a smile on your face, or it did mine. In Derby, I spend the night eating at the pub and catching up with friends. I left Derby the next morning. I rode part of the Devil's Cardigan route through the forest before turning off at Welborough Hotel for a section of sealed road. Making my way to Pyangana, where I filled up on all things cheese and coffee at the cafe. After leaving Pyangana, the vegetation began to change as I headed towards the coast and the Bay of Fires conservation area. There's no drinking water at the Bay of Fires, so fill up earlier in the day if arriving from the north. I've made some changes since filming, and this section of the route now takes you past the trailhead of the 28 kilometre Bay of Fires single track. You might choose to ride it depending on your bike choice. I set up camp and chilled for the evening among the orange lichen covered granite and restless sea. After Scamander, the route heads inland and away from the coast to Fingal. There was a solid ratio of climbing and the loudest cicadas in all of Tasmania. I briefly tried to cross South Esk River but failed. I left my camera in the bag and busted out an additional 21-kilometre detour, desperate to get to Fingal before the shops closed. Thankfully, a gem called Aladdin's Cave was open and I feasted on chips and chocolate milk for dinner. After morning toasties and coffee, I followed the trail up once more, taking me through some of the most remote riding of the route around the back of Douglas Aspley National Park. Later in the day, the sense of remoteness dissipated as I reached the sealed road and into Freycinet National Park, the hazards keeping things in perspective. The next day I left Coles Bay and followed a large section of what will no longer be in the route. I pedalled to Triabunna where my lift home awaited me. I was tired, hungry, and the line of the map mostly worked, with a few small changes. Watch out for a full film showcasing the entire route at the end of the year.